What's up, Funkheads? It's October 31st. What an excellent day for a top 10 horror pops video. For this top 10, I'm only going to be picking pops that are from actual horror movies. So you won't see anything from The Walking Dead or American Horror Story, for example. Only pops that are from actual horror movies. And I'm not basing the list on how popular the character is. I'm focusing more on the design of the pop, how instantly recognizable it is, how detailed it is, and just how cool it looks overall. You may agree or disagree, but just remember that this is my personal opinion. Chucky the Killer Doll translated really well over into pop form because the character is small and he is a doll. He's basically a kid's toy. So it really works as a pop. I think they got the hair just right. I really like that they gave him the knife. And my favorite version of him is the Hot Topic exclusive with the blood splatter on it. The common is cool too, but the blood splatter on the exclusive is very appropriate and to me is the best version of Chucky.
Close your eyes and count to 7. When you wake, you'll be in heaven.
Captain Spaulding probably isn't on a lot of people's list of greatest horror characters of all time, and House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects are probably also not on a lot of people's best horror movies of all time, but the character is memorable. And I think Funko did a really good job with this pop. I think it was a really good move to add a mouth in there with those yellow teeth. And the overall sculpt is done really well. And I really like the paint job on it. It looks bright and kind of cheerful, but the beard and the teeth bring it right back down to that extremely creepy level. Just makes this a really unsettling pop. Judging by how well Captain Spaulding came out, it would have been cool if Funko would have made the rest of the Firefly family.
What's the matter, kid? Don't you like clowns?
The original Scream movie is one of my favorite movies of all time, not just horror movies, one of my favorite movies. And the design of the killer is pretty simple, but that's why it's important to get it just right, and I think Funko did a really good job with this pop. He's only 4 colors, but they got him perfect. Instead of just making him all black, they made his gloves glossy, his boots glossy, his belt glossy. So it does make it look like a different material than the robes and hood. And they got the sculpt of the face just right with the mouth gaping open and the long chin. I like the extra detail of the blood on the knife. It's just done perfectly. And when you place this pop next to other pops, it really stands out because of that black and white and how recognizable Ghostface is. The classic Universal horror movies aren't so scary nowadays, and neither are the monsters, but the Dracula pop is one of the coolest ones in my entire collection. I think everything about the pop they did perfectly. The way they sculpted his hands, like he's coming for you to try to grab you and suck your blood. The way one of his eyebrows is slightly raised above the other. The color they chose for his skin, it looks dead and clammy. The widow's peak and the slicked black hair. His cape, his suit, his medallion. Everything about this pop is perfect. This is one of those that you can give someone as a gift, and it might just hook them into collecting pops because of how cool this guy looks.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Pinhead, the Hell Priest, has one of the most disturbing character designs of anything I've ever seen. Even if you've never seen the Hellraiser movies, just through cultural osmosis alone, you know who Pinhead is because of that terrifying design. And to make something so gruesome translate over into pop form must have been pretty difficult, but the Pinhead pop came out really good. It's got a lot of little details in there that are done just right. I like that they gave him the puzzle box, the way he's holding it out, and they did a good job with the pins. They look a little thicker than they do in the movie, and a little shorter, but it really works with the overall roundness of the head and just the nature of Funko Pops. They did a really good job with a challenging design.
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
The original Freddy Krueger pop is pretty cool, but I do like the one with the syringe fingers a lot better. He was a Hot Topic exclusive, and a pretty cool one at that because they had to resculpt the hands and also the head because this one doesn't wear a hat. I really like when they don't make the exclusives super lazy. And the paint job on the head is really cool. It does look like what heavy burns look like. This is what they should have made the unmasked Deadpool head look like. The new Dwight from the Walking Dead pop. This is what his scarring should have looked like, I think, instead of that awful pink color they chose. This has got a really great sculpt and paint job on that head. And they managed to make his eyes look super crazy. They're still just round pop eyes, but for some reason the way they sit in those eye sockets make it look like he has that crazy ass Freddy Krueger look in his eye.
Let's get high.
The Jack Torrance pop from The Shining is another example of everything being absolutely perfect on the pop. They gave him the bloody axe, he's standing in a menacing manner, one of his eyebrows is slightly more raised than the other, and there's redness around the eyes and a little bag. It just makes him look crazy. And they got the hair to look just like Jack Nicholson's hair, which was really important to make this recognizable as Jack Torrance right away. And I even like the details on the box, like the bloody red rum on the window and the carpet pattern on the side of the box. Really great attention to detail with this pop. And it's just very impressive to me when they can get the human heads to look so much like the actor while being limited by the Funko Pop style.
Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
If you've been pop hunting lately and you see the Kerry pop stacked with all the other pops, you've probably noticed how much she stands out. It's a pretty simple sculpt. It's just a girl in a dress with long hair, but the way they applied that paint is perfect. They got the color just right. It's not super glossy, so it does make it look kind of sticky and tacky and like a different texture than the rest of the pop. They really did a good job making it look like blood. Kind of like the Ghostface pop, this one definitely draws your eye, especially if you take out all your horror pops to display them for Halloween. Kerry really stands out. Regan from The Exorcist is one gross little pop. The way they did her hands, feet, and skin looks pretty decrepit, and I really like that they sculpted in the scarring instead of just painting red lines on there. It looks really gross. Out of all the pops on this list, she probably has the best paint job. There's a lot of different colors going on in that face to create that really gross, almost zombie-like effect. The color they picked for the puke is just right, and I really like that they decided to give her those pale yellow eyes instead of just the solid black pop eyes. And the dark line around them, and then the dark, slightly olive green shading they gave around her eyes makes it look really eerie and creepy. Overall, this pop is a perfect example of how much Funko can do with these really, really good paint jobs.
What is it?
The FYE exclusive Pennywise with teeth is a perfect example of how far Funko has come with their sculpts. There is so much detail in this pop. Just look at that rough collar, his pants, the little poof on his shoes, the roughs around his wrist, all fully detailed and done really well. I like the sculpt on the hands. I like the pops that have the open hands instead of just the fists by the side of the body. And they even sculpted in some cracking along the hairline. The hair is really great. And of course, those big, disgusting teeth with blood around the mouth. Just an excellent sculpted pop. I love that they decided to color the eyes instead of just having them black. The furrowing of his brow looks really good. Just excellent detail on this pop. It's far superior than the common Pennywise, and is definitely one of the creepiest and most horrific pops that Funko has made to date. Alright guys, that was my top 10 horror Funko Pops. It was kind of a hard list to put together because I did try to balance popular and iconic characters with excellent execution on the Funko Pops. That's why some pops like Michael Myers didn't show up on this list because, yeah, it's done okay, but it's just kind of a boring looking pop compared to some of these others. Even though the character is super memorable, it just doesn't lend itself to be a super interesting pop. Let me know in the comments below what you think are the best horror pops, which ones are the worst, what you thought about this list, what you're going to be for Halloween, or anything else you'd like to say. Thanks for watching, be safe tonight, get plenty of candy, and have fun.